Day 120 of my daily faith pill. Thursday, April 30th, last day of the month. When your faith compels God's yes. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Hebrews 11:6. There is a potent, almost audacious declaration one may hear. If your faith says yes, God cannot say no. Initially, this assertion might sound startling, suggesting an almost unbelievable power residing in human belief. However, as we meditate deeply on the Word of God, we realize the profound truth embedded in his statement. Our faith possesses the ability to move the heart and action of God in ways that align with his purpose, compelling a response that might otherwise be withheld. Consider two powerful biblical examples illustrating how extraordinary faith overrides perceived divine limitations or timing. First, recall the woman whose daughter was grievously ill. When she approached Jesus, the text indicates that Jesus initially ignored her pleas. Even as the disciples urged Jesus to dismiss the persistent woman, he responded with a seemingly harsh assessment. It is not fit to give the food meant for the children to the dogs. This statement reflected a protocol, a sense that the provision intended for Israel, the children, should not yet be directed elsewhere. But the woman's response was laced with incredible humility and unflinching faith. Yes, Lord, but even the dogs can eat the scraps that fall from the children's table. Jesus' reaction testified to the power that she wielded through belief. He exclaimed, "Wow, my God, I've never seen such faith." In that moment, Jesus declared, "Go, be done unto you according to your faith." What happened? Jesus broke protocol. He acted outside the precise boundaries he felt he was supposed to observe at that moment. He did something he initially felt he ought not to do, something contrary to his immediate inclination. Yet the woman's faith compelled his answer to be yes, resulting in her child's immediate recovery. Her faith moved him to act where he was ready to say no. Similarly, observe the miracle at the wedding in Cana. When the wine ran out, Mary appealed to Jesus, who initially resisted, stating, okay, why are you telling me? How does this concern me? You know it's not yet my time." Jesus indicated that the moment for his public revelation had not yet arrived, but Mary, demonstrating profound faith in her son's capability, offered this instruction to the servants. "Look, whatever this guy tells you, anything my son asks you to do, do it." She knew that the solution required only Jesus to move. Because of Mary's faith, her certainty that Jesus was the solution, he acted. He performed a miracle that was not yet on his scheduled timeline. At an unlikely venue, Jesus was saying, "No, it's not yet my time," but Mary's faith moved Jesus' planned action forward. When faith acts decisively, God responds. This is the principle. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. If we desire to truly honor and please him, we must operate by faith. Perhaps the reason we are not experiencing the fullness of what God intends for us is that we are hesitant to step out in genuine belief. We must confront the obstacles ahead. We recognize the mountain and the challenges that appear insurmountable. But when we anchor our gaze not on the size of the enemy, but on the immutable character of God's faith ignites. Think of David facing Goliath. David knew he was outmatched physically and militarily, but his eyes were fixed on God. That focus, that active faith, is what brought Goliath down. There is nothing you cannot achieve when your focus remains fixed on the Lord. The Bible assures us, to them that believe, all things are possible. Speak to that mountain, command it to move, and refuse to harbor doubt in your heart. What you have asked for, you will receive. Good morning, God-backed kings and queens. Step out today knowing this. God's for you, with you. He sees you. He loves you immensely. You are God-backed. You know, this teaches us that sometimes we can't take no for an answer, you know. The woman said, "Even the dogs eat the scraps at the children's table." I mean, what a comeback. First, bold to say that to Jesus. Let me say that. But sometimes you got to tell God, like, listen, You plan for this to happen in 5 years, but Lord, I have faith that it can happen right now. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's get into it. It's that's unwavering faith, right? It's really hard to have. I mean, off the top of my head, I mean, it's been a long day for me. I know it says good morning, but I do this in the evenings usually. But off the top of my head, I can't really think of any time that I've had this unwavering faith like that. Possibly, but possibly not. It's something that comes a dime it does. Something that comes once in a million people, really. But sometimes we need to be that one in a million. We need to believe what God can do for us, how he can heal us, how he can move us, how he can position us. Remember this word. This reminds me of Jacob, because Jacob was renamed Israel, and it says Israel stands for one who wrestles with God, and he literally wrestled with God. Sometimes we gotta wrestle and we can't let go, until he breaks the hip. But sometimes we gotta do that. You gotta be like, Lord, I believe you can do this for me. Do it according to your will. Do it. If you have that unwavering faith, watch what happens in your life.